Welcome you today at Mémorial de la Shoah. My name is Sophie Nagiscard, and I'm head of the Culture Department of the Memorial. And on behalf of our institution and our director, I'm very glad to welcome and to that the Memorial welcome these European Days of Jewish Culture. So maybe some of you already know this institution, but for those who never have been there, I'm going just to introduce this place in a few words. And because this year, 2023, we are going to, it's the 80th anniversary of the creation of the CEDJC, le Centre de Documentation Juive Contemporaine, the Contemporary Jewish Center, which is an association born during the war, 1943, founded by a group of resistant Jewish from various obedience, mainly people who were involved into either saving the Jews of France during the war or a representative of cults. And they found this association in the goal to gather documentation about what was happening to the Jews in France. Of course, in 80 years, this first association evolved a lot to become the place you're in today. But the main goal of its founders is still there. In 1953, Isaac Schneerson, who was the founder of this first association during the war, decided to build a memorial to the assassinated Jewish. And this memorial was supposed also to be a place of remembrance, but to host the documentation center. And this documentation center was made of German archive that the CDJC have taken at the liberation of France in various places, hosted, stolen, maybe we can say, for some of them. And also, made of archive, and it's still the case today, of families, of people who have been victims of the Holocaust and who want to host their archive in a place dedicated to, first, the remembrance of the genocide and the documentation of the genocide, but also a place, a Jewish place. So today, the Memorial has become the institution you see there. It's composed of this place in Paris, also another memorial in Drancy, which is facing the place of memory, La Cité de la Muette, but also three other places who joined the memorial recently. First one is a place in Orléans, which is south of Paris, which is named Le Cercil, and which have been founded by Hélène Moucharzé around the memory of the children imprisoned and assassinated after the roundup of the Veldiv in 1942. Another place is in Clermont-Ferrand, which is the Center Jules Isaac, which is hosted by an ancient synagogue. And the third place, the last place, is the place of memory at Le Chambon-sur-Lignon. And Le Chambon-sur-Lignon, maybe you know that place at one of the few villages which have been named righteous among the nation for the role they have had during the war into the saving of Jewish children and Jewish adults also. So today the memorial is still, doing what its founder, decide to do. Is first to gather documentation for any researcher to be able to to find documents for their research, either on the Holocaust or more openly, as I say, into Jewish culture. I will bring your attention to the fact that our library, our library, library is in Paris, one of the biggest collection, I will say, about Jewish culture, and it's managed by Ariel Sion. So maybe if you're interested to go to see what she have, you will see that she have a lot of things about Jewish culture, and mainly also Jewish culture before the war, with a lot of titles in Yiddish or whatever, press, you know, in France, and very interesting for Jewish culture. And so documentation and also transmission, you know, memory, of course, but transmission. In my department, we are managing exhibition and conferences. So our exhibition, we are, for example, last year we made about 12 exhibitions, which is a lot, you know, and we are trying to tour them, you know, in France with a circulation, and so either in school, in municipality, in various places, you know, and sometimes abroad also. And of course, conferences which are devoted, of course, to the history of the Holocaust. And we are very lucky to still have a lot of actuality, either in films, essay, or history, but also fiction, you know, which are still, you know, nourishing this programmation, you know, which is really a sign that I think the Jewish culture is still very... and particularly about the Holocaust, you know, we could have think, you know, that maybe this interest into the topic, you know, will go increase down, but that is really not the fact, and it's very interesting, I think, to notice that, because it's a sign of the importance of that topic. But also, of course, we are interested in the Jewish culture, even if it's not our first goal, I confess. But, you know, we are involved into the Festival des Cultures Juives here in Paris since its beginning, you know, and so we are very happy every year to participate to the festival. And to see, you know, how, you know, even if it's begun something like 20 years ago, I remember very well, I think it's what the year we begin here in 2005, that the first edition appears here in Paris. And so now it became a very big festival, you know. And so it's very nice for me to see this development, you know, and to see the interest, you know, of people. And I think Holocaust, Shoah, is one of the aspects of the Jewish culture today, unfortunately. But it's fortunately not the only one. And so, what can I say? You will discover our institution, you know, maybe today. And wait, maybe so. And I hope, you know, you will enjoy to see what we propose. And some of our exhibitions, maybe you will, if you have time to visit them, you know. And you are, of course, welcome anytime, and more if you want to send us some question after. Have a good day.
Good morning. My name is Bruno Boyer. I'm the head of international relations at the Holocaust Memorial in Paris. Very shortly, only 1 minute, because you are the European Days of Jewish Culture network. I would like to underline the European dimension of the place where you are. Europe flows through the vein of Memorial al-Shoah, and from the beginning, from the start. If you review the fondators or the pillars of Memorial de la Shoah, since 1943, there were 3 fondators. Lucien Steinberg, he was born in Bucharest. Isaac Schneerson, he was born in Russia. He was born in Kamenets-Podolsky, Ukraine, Russia. And Leon Polyakov, who was born in Russia. And let's say, the next generation with Serge Klarsfeld, he was born in Bucharest. All these four historical figures are key, are the basis of the activities, the legacy, and the policy of Memorial de la Shoah. So from the beginning, we were not a French institution, we were a European institution. And today, through the activities, all the activities of Memorial de la Shoah have a European dimensions. We have, of course, exhibits about the Holocaust, for instance, in Thessaloniki or in different parts of Europe. When we deal with the persecution of the homosexuals, this is the first exhibit ever dedicated to this issue in Europe, not in France. So we always try to promote a European dimension. When we have, together with Sophie, 4 online events dedicated to Ukraine, we try to promote European values and to defend Ukraine and to stand together with Ukraine because this is a part of the European legacy. What is at stake at the East is the falsification of history and falsification of the Holocaust. So it's the role of Memorial de la Shoah to stand up and to speak about these issues. And it's not only because we do pretend to be European, but we are recognized as such by the European Commission, like you, Victor and Federico, with your activities. We have the same kind of project and same kind of support coming from the Citizens' Equality Right Value programs, but we have been supported by the European Commission since 2014 through an operating grant. An operating grant means just one thing. We do support you, whatever you do, because we do believe you are a European institution, very important for the remembrance of the European history. And we have this kind of support now for more than 10 years. So we have a great partnership with the European institutions and the European Commissions with the head of about Department of Anti-Semitism, etc., etc. So I wanted just to underline the European dimension, and we have an international policy, of course. And we are European because we defend the European values. And one of the negative European values today is, of course, anti-Semitism. And the work today of Memorial de la Shoah is to fight back anti-Semitism in all its fields, education, research, but together with the young generations. So the European dimension really flows through the vein of Memorial de la Shoah, and we have so many things in common, so many things to share with your network. So for us, it's a real privilege to be in the same perspective, same approach. We are complementary to each other, really complementary, and it's a privilege once again to have you here today.
Well, thank you very much, both of you and Memorial de la Shoah, for having us here in your very impressive premises. Again, like I said yesterday, we are not only delighted, but we are we believe that to be here in this place that is so important in terms of history for Paris, for France, and for Europe, for the Shoah, is something very special to us. I would like to welcome you and everybody who's here in this auditorium to the opening of this 2 days conference. A very warm welcome from AEPJ. It is a unique event. I will come back to that today, and the success of this gathering is a testimony that Jewish heritage and Jewish culture is now at the core of at the center of the preoccupations of civil society in Europe, and so should it be. We have a long history behind us of nearly 25 years of activities to come to this point. It is always good for those who are new here, but also for those who have cooperated and worked with us for some years to remember this start and to remember where we come from. And that such an association, such a project, such a common endeavor doesn't just, develop in 1 or 2 years, but it needs time. And where we are coming today is a very important milestone. We have started the activities in Alsace, France. When we say we, several people, including our honorary president, Claude Bloch, here, sitting here, by opening the Jewish sites to the public because they were in danger to be forgotten, to be sold, to be neglected. And very quickly it appeared that this idea of, showing to the public that there are walls that are more than only bricks, that what a synagogue means, what a Jewish cemetery means, is of an extraordinary potential to show that Jews have a long history in their city, in their village, in their region, to show that there is a common history also to all people, that you can learn from each other, not only in terms of religion, but also in terms of respecting each other, of building something together. And very quickly we set up this European Day of Jewish Culture in 17 countries in the year 2000, and it grew to sometimes more than 30, sometimes 35 countries of people wanting to participate in this European Day of Jewish Culture. It is also good to remember that since 2004 we have been recognized by the Council of Europe in Strasbourg as a cultural route, a European cultural route. We created the European route of Jewish culture, and many of you participate also in this project. But this year, as you know, is very important milestone, because just unlike you having been recognized for here at the memorial for some time now as an important player, and for all of us, because Shoah should be in the center of of the thinking process of the Europeans. We know what happened, we know what can happen. Jewish heritage has taken time to be recognized as this central value which it is. And we have started by cooperating with other partners, other routes of culture in small projects, and here we are now, having built a consortium with many organizations throughout Europe in organizing these European Days of Jewish Culture. It is a milestone because we are now cooperating, being recognized with the European Union, and it is not a question of ego, as you can imagine. It is a question that the European Union is the biggest and the most powerful of the European institutions. And as you know, Council of Europe embodies a lot of good values built after the war to have peace and cooperation. But the European Union is this big machine, political machine, where the main decisions are being taken, and where it is so important that the core values that we embody also are being taken into notice. And this is happening with this project to fight anti-Semitism. And it is important that the Commission sees that by promoting Jewish heritage and culture, you do something for the understanding of each other in society, to get to know the Jews and their history, and to promote the common values, the common understanding through this means. This meeting is really not only today's meeting, it is probably a historical gathering, and you are there, and you can tell your children and your and your family about it when you will retire. About this, it will be a milestone really in Jewish culture and heritage. Let me tell you just another few words about AEPJ, our association. Since the beginning, it was not our goal, to be a centralized organization where we dictate what should be done and where we control what's going on. The philosophy, and this is very important, was completely opposite. The philosophy was, we are promoting and coordinating an event. We are opening to everybody. We are welcoming to everybody and try to work with everybody who has the same goals in promoting Jewish heritage and culture. And for that, you can imagine we need strong people, people who are very dedicated. And this is true for benevolent people, but also for our team. So let me just present you this team. And we will ask each of you to stand up. I will start with our General Secretary, Assumpció Hosta from Catalonia, Girona, here. Then our Honorary President, Madame Claude Bloch from Strasbourg, Alsace, France. Then, as you know, in Italy there is an incredible heritage in general. It's an open-air museum, but many people don't know that the Jewish heritage is as fabulous as the other heritage, and therefore we have two representatives from Italy, Anni Sacerdoti from Milan, and Claudia De Benedetti from Turin, and everywhere in Italy. So this is our bureau. We have also obviously a board which is larger, which is constituted of members of some of the member organizations. And I would like to greet all of you, those who come from Paris, and there are many. Merci d'être venus. Some I've known a long time ago, and some I have the pleasure of meeting today. This is true for Bnei Brit, but we have also people from far away, and especially I would like to greet the representative of Georgia, who is in the Museum of Tbilisi. Thank you very much for coming here. And also, I would like to welcome the representatives of the Kiryati Foundation from Tel Aviv, and Uri is there, and thank you for being here. So that you have really an idea of, the importance and the very variety of delegates who are here. But I also like to finish with just thanking very much not only the team in terms of benevolence in AEPJ, but also obviously those who are working for us every day. One is not here, it's Mark, who had to stay in Barcelona because that's where our office is and we need to make sure it continues. But those who are here are first our excellent director, Victor Sorensen, who all of you know. Then I'd like to welcome a person who has been with us for several years and who has been very important in terms of communication, and who now takes a bit of another role. And please applaud Federico Sarfo. Then we have had the possibility now with this project of having a bigger team, and a person who just joined our team and who would like to greet is Judith Teboul from Paris. Bienvenue. So you see the team, which is very varied. I will close now and say, yes, I didn't say I'm François Moïse. I'm sitting in Luxembourg, where we have our headquarters. And I would like to wish you excellent debates. I would like to have this meeting to be a success. And I would like to apologize because I have to leave. I'm a bit of a busy person, and so I can only stay very few minutes, but it was very important for all of us to come, at least part of the event. And so let the debate start. Let's have the success. And as I said, let us all together work for Jewish and culture and put it in the center of the preoccupation of European society. I would like to close by saying that the topic of this year, memory or memories, should also be at the end of the year the memories of an outstanding year of success for Jewish heritage and culture. And for those who will be able to do it, and maybe who are not obliged to be also on the ground opening some places on the 3rd of September, you are all welcome to join our central opening event, which will happen in Brussels at the main synagogue, Synagogue de la Régence, the European synagogue, where we'll have really a big event with representatives of the European institutions. So on Sunday, 3rd of September, if you can make it, again, this is an event open to all of you, and whether there or somewhere else in Europe or maybe somewhere else, I look really forward to meeting you again. Thank you very much.